Back in 2008, while most people were panicking because we were in a recession, some people were quietly buying up homes and stocks and businesses at a discount. That one move made them millionaires. I know we're all sick and tired of hearing anyone say a recession is coming, but we can feel the signs that makes us know something is coming. And at some point there will be a downturn. There will be some kind of crash, possibly a recession. Even though we wish we had the crystal ball and we can tell if or not this recession will happen, the main question is, should history repeat itself next year? Will you be part of those who come out on top, who take advantage of the once in a lifetime opportunity, or will you miss it again? So let's discuss who actually wins should there be a recession and how you can position yourself and be ready for it. My name is Loveth. This is Money Conversations, where we understand that wealth is not a flex, management is. So for those who do not know, for those who are younger, the younger millennials and Gen Zers, in 2008, we had a recession. Stock values went down to pretty much nothing. And like the domino effect, the US economy was, everything went downhill. There was huge unemployment. People didn't have jobs, couldn't pay their bills, defaulting left and right, home values went down to zero. It was a recession, a very bad one. But even in all that mayhem and downturn, some people came out ahead. Some assets came out ahead. Those who won in 2008 had one or more of these four things going for them. First, they were ready. They were prepared, i.e., they had cash and they had minimal debt. Back then, when the recession hit, those who had heavy debt were in trouble because most of the time they were unemployed at this point. Hence, therefore, they couldn't pay their debt. And so having any debt was massive leverage. And I'm not just talking individually, even as a business, having the heavy liability of debt, meanwhile, you didn't have as much revenue coming in was disaster. And personally, too, having all these credit card payments or these mortgages that you had to pay, a lot of people had rental homes and what we would maybe consider now Airbnb. Airbnb wasn't a thing then. It was just rental homes. They were in trouble because there were no income, people weren't paying rent, so they couldn't cover the mortgages for those properties, i.e., foreclosure. Being debt free or low debt is only half of it. In 2008, no bank was lending you money or giving out loans. You would have to go through stringent rules. You would have to really qualify to get any. No one was borrowing. No one was lending anyone money at the time. Banks didn't even have money. They had to be bailed out. So it wasn't just a matter of having no debt or low debt. Having cash, being liquid was what actually helped. Because on the flip side, those businesses and individuals who had cash and low debt were able to buy these foreclosed homes and businesses going under for pennies on the dollar. So having less debt was good because it minimized your overhead every single month. And I'm talking about individual and businesses. It meant you didn't have a lot going out every month. But also having cash meant you were ready to jump in and buy these assets super cheap. Imagine buying your house so undervalued that in a year you have all this equity in it. So what does this tell us about 2026 should a recession happen or whenever a recession happens? We need to make sure we are not debt heavy. You want to take care of your debt as much as you can. And we must make sure we have enough cash. It's not enough to have our wealth in assets that we can liquidate. You need cash. Cash is still king. Bitcoin is not it. Cash is still king, right? And this is not your emergency fund because should a recession happen, your emergency fund is your safety net and you do not want to tap into that. So that means individually as a business, you also want to hold on to as much liquid as you can so you can take advantage of the recession when it happens. The second thing they had going for them was their ability to invest when fear was high. Yes, they invested when most of us, not me, I was too young, I had nothing to my name. But when most people were afraid to invest, because remember in 2008, when the recession happened, stocks plummeted. I mean, it plummeted. But these guys knew, and ladies, when I say guys, men and women, they knew, they saw the opportunity. They saw what Warren Buffett said. When people are running away, that is when you jump in. When people are jumping in, that's when you step out. Like right now, the stock market is doing so well. We've had growth upon growth upon growth, a few downturns, and then it comes back up. Most people are jumping in right now with no fear. We're so used to growth, everyone is jumping in. When a recession happens, most people are, we're all protecting our cash, right? Most people are unemployed. They don't know when they're getting their next job. back in 2008, it took 12 months to find a job that even paid something, right? Not even paid enough, just paid something. Most people at that point will not have jobs. And so everyone is holding on to their money. These guys knew these stocks were at dirt cheap, just like the homes and the businesses. They knew the stocks were dirt cheap. And even though everything else around them said, hold on to your money, they invested. Now, Loveth is not an expert. I'm not your advisor. I've I have no expertise. And so this is suggestion. You do you. Don't make decisions based on just what you watch. Do your homework, do your research, and do what works for you and your own. So what does this teach us about the future should a recession happen, be it 2026 or 2029? When people are afraid to jump in, it's possibly the best time to jump in. When people are running away, holding on to their money, it's possibly the best time to take advantage of the situation and build yourself wealth, build yourself positions so that once the recession ends or once we're in the upward trend, you're coming out on top. You've bought when it's super low, and now when everyone is jumping in, you can just coast because now those investments you've made in the downturn is just gaining value. I mean, if only I knew these things back then. The third thing they had going for them, actually the third and fourth thing going for them, because it is one and the same, being able to align themselves with the shift, right? Because in 2008, during the recession, there was high unemployment. No one was hiring. A lot of sectors were hit. Remember, I said it was like a domino effect. Everything was crashing and it was worldwide. No one was hiring. Pretty much no one was hiring. Those who came out on top were people who were able to realize things have changed. I need to align myself with the change, move with the change. So a lot of people jumped on whatever sector was hiring, they got the necessary training and boom, jumped into it. I know a lot of people in real estate moved into healthcare because they were the only ones hiring at the time. Well, they were one of the few people hiring at the time. Some people went into home foreclosure. Those who dealt with foreclosure did the paperwork for foreclosures and short sales. All that home. The downside of home purchase. Some people went into that because that was where they needed the help. That was where the job was. So they went from real estate brokers and real estate agents to working on foreclosures and short sales and like I said, health care and education. So those who were ready, those who were limber and agile and ready to jump on to whatever sector was hiring, they were the ones who came on top. Those who knew they couldn't rely on their previous skills and they had to learn new skills, they were the ones who came on top. Those who had other skills other than just what they were doing, their one job, they were the ones who came on top because when their jobs or when the employer laid them off, they were able to hone in on the skills they had, right, to make things work. So, what does this tell us about the future should a recession happen? If you want to come out on top, you want to focus on the sectors that are part of the upward trend, the reset. So whenever the recession happens, however it happens, whatever field it starts with, right? We don't know when it will happen or how it will happen. We just know when it does happen, it's going to be huge, right? So that means multiple fields, multiple sectors will be hit. You want to pay attention to the sectors that are necessary for the upward trend, for the climb out of the recession. And that is where you want to go in, right? You want to be ready to get the skills, to get the training that is needed so to jump onto that sector, that field. And I know some of it is common sense. If the education department is hit hard, no one is applying there. But remember, a lot of people are going to get hit all at once at the same time. You want to pay attention so you can jump on it quickly and be part of the initial people because at some point, I mean, everyone will realize healthcare is hiring. So let's all go get training for healthcare. And then and then there's a saturation and the chances of getting hired is also slim because now everyone is qualified to work in healthcare, right? So when the recession does happen, you want to be part of those at the beginning or as soon as possible, paying attention to the sectors that still have jobs or still need people for the upward trend. Of course, a recession may never happen because we're all aware of 2008. The government is aware of 2008. And regardless of who goes into the White House, no one wants to drop the ball during their watch, right? So everyone, regardless of what party goes in there, will do whatever they need to do to ensure it doesn't happen. So we may not even see a recession like 2008. It may not even be as bad as 2008, right? It could be that. But here's what you want to avoid, right? First of all, you want to avoid the thinking that all is well and it's been growth all of 2024, 2025, and it will continue that way. The law of physics, law of life, the law of air, the law of just the law tells you there has to be a downward. Whenever there's an upward, there's a downward. I mean, it's just the love opposite. Heck, the love loveth. We can't have this continuous trend and not expect to have a downward trend. So you definitely don't want to think, oh, this is all just fear mongering and proceed as normal. That thought is definitely what makes you part of those who would lose. Because when the recession does happen, if it does happen, you were not going to be prepared. You would rather be prepared and it doesn't happen than have a shoulda, coulda, woulda. You also want to avoid waiting for undeniable sign of a recession because at that point it pretty much is too late. Right now, everything we have going on says it's 50-50, right? If you're waiting for when there's absolute sure signs showing there is a recession, at that point, it really is going to be too late. So, in the meantime, while the good is good, these are the things you want to do. Build your buffer now, i.e., ramp up your emergency fund and additional savings you would use to take advantage of the opportunities. Your emergency fund, because that is what will hold you down and keep you from sinking should the recession happen, keep you afloat, and then the savings to help you jump in and start tackling the debt so that every month, every year, the recession hasn't hit is to your advantage because you are taking care of business, you're building your buffer by getting rid of debt. It's also a good idea to earmark that savings you would use should a recession happen, set that aside specifically for that so that when there is a downturn, you do not in fear hold on to it like Lovett does. You would actually, because you've actually separated the amount, you know, this, we're good, we're fine, right? We have enough to hold us down. And this amount is what we will use to invest or buy that home, buy that business, however the recession happened. But whatever opportunity comes up, this is what we'll use to buy in. Something else you want to do is identify a skill you can build up and monetize now, a skill different from your current job or what you currently do. Is there another skill you can build up and monetize now so it gives you additional income stream? Because should a recession happen and you lose your main source of income, or revenues and coming in from your business for you business owners, you have another income stream bringing money in. It's a lot easier when you already have that in place and it's already bringing in revenue than trying to build something or start something when the recession has hit and it's a lot harder to bring money in. Also take a look at your investment, your assets, and diversify. I know it's been a great 3 years. But like I said earlier, you want to avoid that thinking that is all good and it's all going to be positive and a growth for the next 5 years. This year has been so volatile, right? We have a downturn for a few days and boom, it shoots back and sometimes surpasses the previous value, right? You can't think it's going to stay that way for the future 2026, 2027. You have to assume should stuff go wrong, how can I protect myself or minimize the risk? So make sure you diversify. It is never wise to be heavily loaded in one sector. This is how you position yourself for a recession. This is how you ensure you come out a winner than a victim. Now you no longer have to worry about when will it happen? Will it happen? What are the signs? What is everyone saying? Because everyone and their mama, including me, says there will be a recession. We've been saying it since I think 2024. I've been expecting it since 2024, and it hasn't happened. And fun fact, for those who were expecting it back in 2025, in 2005, because there people were calling it in 2005, it didn't happen until 2008. This way, you are prepared. And whenever it hits, we pray it doesn't, but whenever it hits, if it hits, you still come out on top. You end up coming out wealthier than you were going into it. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button. And if you want more of this type of videos, or if this is your kind of thing, then go ahead and subscribe. I am trying to grow this to 1,000 at least. It's important. I need 1,000. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.